Hi guys, I'm your ACCA mentor, Zahi Sayed, and today I wanted to talk about one of the most commonly asked questions, which is whether we should give the remote exams available. Now, I'm sure we will all agree that ACCA is one of the most advanced finance and accounting qualifications, and they have been trying to do everything possible to make the course as flexible as possible and as more doable as possible, and hence feature like remote exams, which became a big thing, especially during the COVID times when we had to let go of one of the sessions. However, hats off to the ACCA team, who are able to launch the remote exams, and since then they have kept it around. Now, my today's video is really talking about whether one should take the ACCA's remote exams or not. Now, whether you are a knowledge level student, whether you are a skill level or a professional level, you should know that the remote exams are available for all the papers. Now, let me focus on the more pertinent, because I think this is where most of the students are facing the struggle, which is when they have a dilemma whether they should go to a center or they should book the exams, remote exams, and sit from home. Now, the answer is not going to be very straightforward, and I'm sorry about that, because both has its pros and cons. When you sit out of the center versus when you sit from home and do the CBE exam, they both have their pros and cons. But I just want to clarify a couple of things. The first is, it is not the case that if you are going to give the remote exams, you will have a technical challenge, or you will not be able to complete the paper, or there will be some or the other challenge. No, that is not the case. Thankfully, over the last couple of years since this has been launched, we've had our students at FPA doing remote exams, and they have been able to do it fairly comfortably. Of course, I will be lying to you if I say that none of them ever had any technical issues. Yes, they do, right? But the point is that if there are 100 people sitting for the exam, there would be probably 4 or 5 who would face this technical issue. So, this myth about that if you do the remote exam, you will not be able to, do the session, that's actually not true, right? People have been doing the exams. In fact, some of my students who are not in Mumbai, and they come from smaller cities where the centers are not available, they have been able to give the exam from the comfort of their home, and they have been doing that for all the skill level and now the P level exams as well, right? So you should definitely not do the CBE exam because of this reason. This is not a right reason not to do the remote exam, right? And secondly, there's another myth that if you are going to do the remote exam, you do not get the support and your money in fact gets wasted. Again, almost every instance, at least for my students, where we've had these challenges, we've always had some level, if not 100%, but at least we've had the support wherein the students have been able to book the exam, right? So you should know that if in the week 1, if you're not able to do the remote exam, you are allowed a week 2 as well, especially in the skill level exam. So if you are, you missed your audit paper on a Monday in the first week of the exam, you will be allowed to give the exam in the next week as well. Of course, dates change sometimes, so it is important that you let the ACCA know as soon as you have some challenges with the exam, and I'll talk about that in a second. But this is the myth that you do not get support while doing the CBE exam. In fact, there are invigilators who are supposed to and who will be able to help you. They will call you. So do make sure that you are, again, not booking the exam, not for this reason, right? So these are just some of the myths that I have come across, and I thought that it's important, considering I've been a strong ACCA advocate, and I've kind of seen so many of my students doing these the remote exams comfortably, I thought that I should, come and talk to you guys and tell you that there is absolutely no problem when giving the CBE exams from home, right? Of course, you need to ensure that you are sitting in a quiet place. You need to make sure that you've got your camera and your mic working. Do not take any chances. If there is any laptop or a computer of yours and you're not sure this is working, not working, beg, borrow, steal from your friends. But sorry, don't steal, but at least make sure that you have a nice good computer. You don't have to buy the most high-end computers and laptops, but a basic computer or laptop will be fine. So use that on the exam day, and make sure that you've done your check before you book the exam, because sometimes the internet in the place that you're logging in from, the internet may not be very good. Your camera may not be working correctly, or your mic is not clear. So those are the kind of things that you need to make sure that you have checked before you book the remote exam. Some of the other tips around is, if you, let's say, do encounter a problem when you're giving the exam, you do not need to panic, right? Wait for the invigilator to come and, reach out to you. So they will either through online, through the interface, that exam interface, that exam screen, they will reach out to you, or they will call you. Do not start calling people. Do not start reaching out to your friends, family, faculties. You're not allowed to do that, right? Because all of this is getting recorded and this can become a problem, right? So make sure that you do wait for the invigilator, be it 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Wait for the invigilator, right? If there is a possibility, your time can be extended. If the time is not getting extended, improvise and make sure you're able to, do your paper. Because 9 out of 10 times, this problem has only come in because your internet has had a challenge, right? So the light went off and the internet automatically got switched off, or whatever issues have been largely around technical challenges at the side of the students, right, and not at the side of the invigilators or ACCA. So therefore, do make sure that if you do get stuck, wait for the invigilator. They will give you the instructions and follow those instructions. Sometimes people find it challenging to log in, and you are pushed in a queue, and then it's showing, you are waiting 200, 300, whatever. Do not get bogged down. Do not panic. ACCA is aware that you've checked in and you have to give the exam. You will be allowed to give the exam, right? Even if you're supposed to start at 3 and you start at 3:15, 3:30, your timing will be accordingly moved ahead, right? So you don't have to worry about these things, right? So like I said, the objective of making this video is so that the students stop panicking over the remote exams. But of course, like I said, at the start, everything has its pros and cons. So only con that I find in the CBE exam is that, and again, this is not the problem with the CBE exam. It is just that if your internet is not great, and if there are challenges around your computer or your mic or whatever, sometimes you have your apps that you have started in the background and you've forgotten to switch them off, or they come up again on its own, or sometimes your antivirus is blocking some of the software. So these are the kind of things that may become a challenge, and hence it is imperative that you do your systems check before you book the exam. However, once again, my final suggestion will be that do not panic. If you do get stuck, let the invigilators help you out. You will in most likelihood be able to give the exam in the next week. And P-level exams, while they were not allowed in the second week, but I've had students instances where they have been able to rebook or reschedule an exam in the same week itself. So like I said, ACCA does want the students to sit the exams, clear the exams, and finish their ACCA journey, right? So do make sure that you do not miss an attempt just because you did not get a center. And God forbid, very, very final thing, God forbid, if you are not able to complete the session, make sure that you are rebooking the exam. you will be able to rebook the exam from the same place where you launched the exam. So under my ACCA, when you go to the exams and you are launching the exam, there will be, after a few hours, once your exam times finished, you may, and you will of course get an option to rebook the exam. So do that. And if you think that your exam went fine but there were some challenges with with your internet, or maybe your invigilator was not maybe able to help you completely, do fill in a exam mitigation form. It is just letting the examining team know that these were the problems that you faced, and hopefully they are able to consider, right? So one final note, that make sure that you are sitting the exams every quarter, whether it is remote exams, whether it is center based exams. Make sure that you do take the advantage of this flexibility of every quarter exams, and wish you all the very best for the upcoming exams. Thank you.